Incredible flavours, even better stories. One pour, 10 minutes. Aussie Bourbon Lovers, sharing bourbon with Australia. We're super pumped. We're in Kentucky. We're in Lawrenceburg, but we're at a distillery owned and run by an Australian Greg Keeley. We're at Larrikin.
Yeah.
We're so happy to be here. Thanks for having us.
Thank you for making the trip all the way from the motherland.
Thanks for having us.
Down under.
Yeah, no, it's I'm a bit sad this week because Fremantle got knocked out of the finals against bloody Gold Coast.
Yeah.
Sorry about this.
By 1 point.
We won't talk too much about it. We'll talk about bourbon instead, so that
that's better. I can
perk
drown my
up.
sorrows.
Yes, yeah.
Exactly.
What have you got for us? What are we for?
Yeah, so today I thought it would be a little bit something one of our more unique products. This is what we call our Rosewater Bourbon, and people say, "Well, what is Rosewater?" Well, effectively, this is our standard 75-21-4 mashbill bourbon that, rather than proof it down with, normally here we'll proof down with the spring water from behind the facility, which for those of you who don't know, obviously back home, we're about 500 yards from Wild Turkey, one of the most famous distilleries in the world, and they're just down the street, and they've been using this water for 60 years, so now we just tap into it and
get a little bit of the good stuff.
Little bit, yeah. So, but it came to me, when I was serving. I served in the U.S. Navy and the Royal Australian Navy in the Middle East for some time, and one of the things we did over there was when you go into the villages and things, when you were sort of just walking around, they would always offer you water, or being very hospitable, or rose tea often.
Yeah.
And so we would always drink the rose tea because that meant the water had been boiled. Yeah. So, and I got to kind of like it. And, rose water is used in, cooking all through the Middle East and, Turkish delights and all that sort of stuff. So we just had this brainwave one day, and because we're Larrikins, we sort of work like Larrikins. We come up with stuff and just go, well, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So we decided we would try proofing bourbon down with rosewater. And it was delicious straight out of the gate.
Wow.
It took a bit of time to get the rosewater to the right, something that worked properly. But it just worked, and we were shocked. Everyone's been sort of surprised. But the biggest surprise was we managed to get the Larrikin Rosewater Bourbon approved by the government, by the TTB, which is the former ATF.
Yep. What process?
Yeah, oh my God. It took us about just over a year to get it approved.
Wow.
So Rosewater Bourbon is considered Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. It's not finished, nor is it flavoured.
Right.
Because you've used the rosewater. Because
we use all natural roses, our local water, blah, 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 blah. They eventually got sick of me asking and said yes.
Cool. Bourbon.
So it's a bourbon. It's a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, and we're the first people ever to do this.
Takes a larrikin to do.
Takes a larrikin, right? Yeah. So you guys haven't tried this one yet?
No, we're very excited.
We've heard about it. So, and we were over here last year when you launched Larrikin, or rebranded to Larrikin.
Yes, sir.
And it went nuts. KDF, everyone went nuts. Hey, cheers, by the way. Thanks for having us.
Cheers. Yeah, KBF was great. We launched bottled in Bond at that, and that sort of won the best in show kind of deal, anecdotally, and then we had to follow up, and Rosewater seemed like a good idea.
A good idea.
And you've won a lot of awards. I saw in the front room there.
Tons. Like it's been we're the most awarded craft distillery in the state. So, and when you're talking Kentucky, that means pretty much.
Pretty significant.
That's pretty incredible because there's a lot of great distilleries around.
There are, that obviously when you say craft, that doesn't include your Wild Turkeys and all those guys. But, the fact that, in 2 years we've been able to establish ourselves as, in that category, and as you say, there's some great distilleries here. Yeah. Katie, who you met, obviously my wife, she was like opening a distillery in Kentucky a bourbon distillery in Kentucky is like trying to open a Michelin 5-star restaurant in New York City.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, you're going to know about it pretty quick.
Yeah.
So
I suppose that's true.
yeah, so we've been pretty fortunate, and it's a lot of hard work, but we try different things.
Yeah, this nose is lovely. There is a bit of a floral note on the nose.
Yeah.
Was that part of were you trying to get some floral notes?
We didn't know what. No, we didn't know
what
what would come out.
You're just experimenting with the idea and.
Yeah, we experimented with Earl Grey tea.
Yep.
Other teas. They were all awful. Like they made it too bitter.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Which is because I've experimented with Earl Grey in our gins and things like that, and it's delicious.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it just didn't work in bourbon.
In the bourbon.
So, and this is proof down to 86.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the result, Dave?
That it's fun. It's not. I don't think that's floral at all when you taste
delicious.
it. But there's this. It's a lovely.
The nose is really florally, and then the taste is like
confectionery kind of.
Yeah.
Turkish delight almost maybe.
Could be that. What's the word I'm thinking of? Can't think of it. But I think it's also got a bit of sort of. I just call it dirt, but that sort of barnyardy kind of.
Yep.
Then that's the rose petals.
Okay.
Yep.
So when we first made it, we did all fresh rose petals, and
Yep.
it had too much earthiness.
Yep.
Earthiness, that's what I meant to
Good
say.
one. Yeah.
Not meant to say dirt.
Dirtiness.
Good.
Yeah. Come
Say
on,
how you like it.
dirt. Yeah. Come on, mate, it's dirt.
Bourbon tastes like dirt.
Bourbon tastes like dirt. Yeah, but
Dirt and roses.
so earthiness.
Yeah.
Much
So
Earthiness.
it was way too earthy.
Yep.
Tasted
Too
like you were
much.
licking the barn floor.
Yeah.
So then we did dehydrated rose petals, and that just didn't have it. Yeah, it was.
Didn't have enough of that earthiness.
So then we basically, it's not quite 50-50, but almost, we combined dry and fresh, and this is what we got.
It's amazing.
Amazing. And so you make the kind of rosewater mix, I suppose, and then literally just use that.
Yeah, it's like we're making tea.
Yep.
Right.
So we just get a big muslin bag, like a
Big tea bag.
big tea bag.
Yep.
Fill it with rose petals. We started in 10-gallon pots, but no one could lift the bloody thing. So we've switched down to 5-gallon
Something
pots.
smaller?
Yeah,
Yep.
5-gallon pots. You put it in, you bring it not to the boil, about 180 degrees, because if you boil it, it mushes it up too much.
Yep.
And this has all been trial and error. And then you let it simmer for about 2 hours. Then you take it off the heat and let it sit overnight, and that generally gets us where we want to be.
Great.
So
And is anyone else proofing down with anything other than water?
no one's allowed to,
Except for you guys.
because we bugged them so much. They eventually were just like, okay.
Persistence pays off.
It did in this case. I'm waiting for one of the big guys to either complain or copy it. And if they copy it,
Yep.
good on them. I'm
You
down
can
with
say you're
that.
the first.
Yep, exactly.
It probably
It means
helps
it's a good idea.
that you start with a really good bourbon to start with. Like this is so good.
So I'm really pleased you said that, because oftentimes, and a lot of this is financially driven, obviously. Some places will use what I would consider, say, a substandard whiskey or bourbon, and to hide or mask the downsides or the imperfections,
Yep.
they'll finish it, put maple syrup in it, do whatever. Here at Larrikin, we don't do that. I don't spend 6 years making this bloody bourbon to make it taste like a rose petal.
Yep.
I want it to taste like whiskey
Yeah.
with a hint, just to give it something different. It's like our maple syrup finished bourbon. It's not finished with maple syrup. It's finished in a barrel that had maple syrup in
Yep.
it. So it has a hint of maple on the back, but it doesn't taste like maple
Yeah.
syrup. So and that's exactly what we try to do with this. When I first made this, I was like, this is all right, but it's really grown on me now. And we've tweaked it a lot. You've got it to exactly where we want it now. This is fantastic, like in a big tumbler, big rocks glass with a big ice cube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you
So,
just like go blah, 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 blah,
Yep.
and go and sit on the porch in summer.
Oh yeah.
we got summers coming
By the
up. So,
pool.
yeah.
That's so good. Well, can we quickly talk about sitting on the porch in summer? So we love coming to Kentucky, but you must have loved it so much that you moved in. What happened that brought you from being in Australia to?
Yeah, so I was in the Royal Australian Navy, and I was posted over here as a naval attaché or military attaché to the U.S. Embassy in Washington. I just fell in love with Kentucky, met my now wife 23 years ago. She's from Wyoming. And she was a diplomat, and I was in the military for all that time, and so we were both traveling around all over the place. And when we got back, we just were like, well, where should we go and live? And bourbon, and it's funny. I always say, Kentucky's a beautiful state, so we just loved it here. And so when I retired, Katie left the diplomatic service and became a nurse to look after veterans. She made it later in life. Later in life sounds like she's 70, but anyhow,
she's not 70.
No, she's not. But that's what she does. So she's a nurse now, and a Navy in the Navy, U.S. Navy. But we just love Kentucky, and when you move to Kentucky, there's only two things really to do: horses and bourbon. And I'm scared of horses, so there you go.
There you go.
That's how it happened.
But wait, you can't make bourbon that's this good without having a passion. Have you always enjoyed like neat pours?
I grew up in Margaret River, the wine region back home in WA. So I've been around winemaking since I was like, knee height of grasshopper kind of deal. So, this is still just making booze, right? So there's a lot of similarities. The great thing with making bourbon as opposed to wine is that wine is a whole process of growing the grapes. So it's like a lot of farming. Not for me.
Whereas here you source all the...
Right.
Yeah,
we just
let the
get all the
farmers
grains.
do that, and then you turn it into the great liquid.
Right. So if you, like my dad, he grows grapes and then he just makes wine over here, right? Not for me. Absolutely not for me. So, and the other thing is too, you get a bit of bacteria into one of those tanks, blending tank in wine, the whole thing's shot.
Yeah.
Here I can have a budgerigar land in it.
Yep.
And as long as I scoop the beak out, no one's going to know. So,
that's great.
It's so good.
See, I normally say seagull when I say that, but people at home would get budgie.
We get budgie. Yeah. Well, here's to
the
scooping out the
budgies.
budgies.
The budgies. Scooping out the budgies.
Yeah.
Thanks, Greg.
Cheers.
Unreal. Thanks for listening. Make sure you're connected with us on TikTok, Instagram and YouTube, and stay connected with us by clicking subscribe on your favourite podcast app.